Hey there, Rebels. Welcome back to another weekly reading. I am in Florida with my son. We are visiting his grandparents for the week. I apologize, as last week I was unable to do a video because we were traveling. So if you were looking for that and missed it, I apologize. You are going to hear some lovely natural Florida sounds behind me as I try to shuffle these cards up as best I can because I am standing out here. We are trying to burn some energy off before we go to float the river. But I have already asked for my guides to come in and help me be a nice, clear, and concise channel for us, just to give us information about the week ahead, what the energies are that we're all interacting with and trying to find our way through, and of course, practical guidance and advice so that we can use that energy to help us really design and live a life that we are loving. So for today, our card is Visions of Life Beyond Death. So this is Visions of Life Beyond Death. And this really to me is just symbolizing, when some part of your life is ending, how do you replace it? How do you move forward? And this is something that is actually a really personal card for me, as we've just passed a 1-year milestone of my son's father being killed. And so for us, in the grieving process, as we were trying to determine what our lives were going to look like moving forward, um, it was hard, right? It was hard to see what that would look like. It was hard to know what it would feel like. It was hard to know how we would get through and what that would entail for us going forward, what that meant for not only us, but, his friends, the places he worked, his family. Um, and I think if you're in the middle of grieving a loss, if you are losing something, if you are transitioning from something, it is going to be hard to know and have a good grasp on what to expect. Um, and I would ask that you really lean into the power of your imagination. The power of your imagination, the power of what you desire, the power of what you can pull in to feel instead of the loss, right? Because we are talking of after something is ended, after the death of one cycle of your life, and you are moving to the next one. So, and that can be anything. That can be leaving one job to pursue something you've always been passionate about. That can be leaving a long relationship and moving forward into singlehood, or being single and now opening yourself up to other relationships, other types of being. Because if you've had any type of toxic patterns, then you know that you don't want to get right back into that, right? You want to make sure you have time to heal. Maybe it's the end. Maybe you're in a financial bind and it's finally the end of that financial outlook, and you're moving into something new, right? Something um, that you can visualize and create and bring to life. And the important thing with doing that is you have to feel it. You have to be able to feel the energies. Back to our reading, as far as new visions, of life after death or beyond death, I feel like it's a very sacred place because it is a place of creation, right? It is something where you're having to sit and deal with the death aspect, the loss aspect, the grieving aspect of leaving behind whatever it is that is no longer fitting or that is no longer welcome, right? Not all loss is involuntary. Some of it is very much a determined and conscious choice to leave behind things that are no longer good for us. So, being able to sit in that creative space and think, well, if I could have anything, if I could be anything, if I could do anything, what would that be? What does that look like? What does the new single version of me look like? How do I spend the time that I was spending devoted to another partner? If I'm pursuing my own work, my own job, my own career, what does that look like? Instead of spending, 8 hours, 9 hours, 12 hours a day working for somebody else, how am I devoting my time to myself, to my growth, to my business? And so if you can turn the focus from being upset and consumed with the hurt or the grief or the loss or the shock, right, of this death experience, whatever the ending is for you, and turn it instead to excitement and passion and motivation to creating something new. It's not an easy feat, and it is something that the more energy you put into it, the more you can really envision yourself in that new routine, right? In those new days, in that new schedule, in that new love, the easier it is going to be. Because essentially what we are doing is we are envisioning and creating the visual of it in our mind, right? Which then evokes an emotional reaction in our body, in our physical form. And you want to get your form used to that emotion. You want to get your form very, I don't want to say compatible, but you want to get your form very comfortable in that new energetic field, in that new excitement, in that new bliss, in that new freedom, whatever it is for you that is your new vision. You want to invoke that emotion in your body and be able to be comfortable, and then move past being comfortable and making that your new normal and making that your new go-to, and it just becomes that signature, that frequency, that vibration that you are now always at. And that is how those things that you have envisioned and felt will then become manifest and physical in your reality for you to step into and replace. I'm going to get one more card from my tarot deck. I've been kind of mindlessly shuffling here. Guys, if I can get a card to clarify this vision of life beyond death. Just one card to help clarify. What is this ending? What is this new vision for the collective? Thank you guys, I'm grateful. So I asked for one card, King of Pentacles, but I also saw this at the bottom. I'm actually more inclined intuitively to take this, which is the Ace of Cups, which, as you can see, it is right over her heart, right? Full. You see how there's some that is coming out. That heart is glowing from her center. That is essentially what your electromagnetic field in your heart center can do. And we want to make sure that we are always filling that up. So, in this, visions beyond death, visions of life beyond death. I didn't talk too much about this card here. She obviously is older, so you could be a physical older person that you were losing, right? And then them transitioning into the spirit realm, right? All of these birds, the peacock, the owl, the skull, the compass, the pearls. She's got tons of stuff all around her, which to me makes her seem very regal, very just peaceful. This doesn't look like a harsh transition. I mean, for all of us at some point it's harsh, but it doesn't seem like it's something horrible. For her, she seems at peace with it. So maybe you're finally getting to that point where you are past the most initial shock, and now we're moving into that comfort of, okay, I've felt it. I know that I'm going to continue to feel these things, but time to move forward. Where can I shift my vision to focus to help me out the most? And that's going to be on what is your heart center, what lights you up, what gets that inside of you to swirl and grow and feel magnificent. Focus on that, okay? So, spend time in the energy of doing and being and having and envisioning yourself as this portion, right? As this Ace of Cups, as I didn't see it, baby. As the things that bring you joy, as the things that your next version, your next person, your next journey would be doing. Are you going to be doing the same things that you were doing before, right? If you're out from a breakup, is the best version of yourself the one who is truly happy? Is she laying on the couch all the time, refusing to shower, or is she accepting the fact of what her life now is becoming, and she's chasing things that light her up? Is she getting outside? Is she, trying a new spot, going to dinner, going to a movie, going to a bookstore, whatever it is that you wanted to do that you thought you had to have somebody else to do it with? Can you do it on your own and see how much joy you can cultivate from that for yourself? If you are creating a new job, if you're leaving your work and you're going to do, business for yourself, okay, are you keeping the same routine? Are you getting up earlier? Do you have the hustle and bustle to get out the door the same way you did before? Can you take it a little bit slower? Can you work from home? How will you change your routine that best incorporates all of you, not just the physically working for somebody else and going to a different location, but what nourishes you? Because I found that as I've stepped out into working for myself, working in a spiritual and mental and mentor capacity, a huge portion of my transition has been not getting up and rushing me and my son out the door. It has been taking the time and readjusting our routine so that way I can spend time nurturing myself and filling my cup up, right? Filling my Ace of Cups, this heart, this new beginning, with things that light me up, that bring me joy, that make me feel centered, so that way I can give freely in my work. And so with that Ace of Cup being the clarifier for this visions of life beyond death, that's what it's going to center around. How can you do life in a way from your heart that helps you more? And I'm going to go so I can be with my heart outside of my body and enjoy this before we finish our day. I hope this message helped. I love you, and I will see you next week.